There are some changes to the PCT permit process for 2023, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through the steps to apply for your permit. Before we get started, a couple of acronyms that I'll be using throughout this video: PCT, or Pacific Crest Trail; PCTA, or Pacific Crest Trail Association; NOBO stands for northbound, or the direction in which you'd be hiking. The scope of this video is going to be a traditional northbound through hike starting at the border. There are an infinite number of other trip itineraries you could come up with, but I'm going to just stick to the one that's the most common, which is a northbound through hike. As you know, the Pacific Crest Trail is over 2,600 miles long, goes through 3 states, countless federal, state, and private areas, each of them having their own special permitting processes, and each one of them a little bit different. With the PCTA permit system, you can get a permit that covers you end to end on your through hike, and you don't have to deal with all those individual permits. Now, you don't need a permit from the PCTA to hike the PCT. However, this one permit to rule them all,
one ring to rule them all,
is going to save you a lot of hassle and headache trying to get all those individual permits on your own. The PCT permit window is March 1st to May 31st. What that means is the PCTA issued permits are for start dates falling within that window. There are 50 permits available per day, and they're going to be issued in 2 batches. The first batch is going to be 35 permits for each starting date, and the second batch is going to be 15 permits for each starting date. But we're going to get into that and the specific dates in just a minute. There's one really nice improvement to the process this year that I'd like to share with you guys. In the past, if you were hiking with a friend or a spouse or a partner, it was a real challenge because maybe the first person would go into the permitting system and they'd get the exact date they want, but the other person got a really bad place in line and they couldn't get a permit anywhere close to that, maybe a week or more away. And so now you've got 2 people that want to hike together with different start dates, and that put them both in a very difficult position. Now what they've done is you're allowed to, after you register, link yourself to another hiker. And when you go through the application process, you can both go through kind of as one unit and get the same itinerary. This is a huge improvement, and big thanks to the PCTA for getting this figured out. One other thing I'll mention though is this only works for 2 hikers. If you have 3, for example, you can't link all 3 together, and that's information I found on the PCTA frequently asked questions page. The next change is very important. If you're going to apply for a PCT permit, this year you have to register ahead of time. The registration window is October 12th at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time and November 1st at 5 p.m. Pacific time, and you're going to go to 2023.permit.pcta.org. You won't be able to apply for your permit on permit release day unless you've gone out and registered ahead of time during this window. And this is just the registration process. The actual process to apply for your permit comes later. If for whatever reason you missed the registration window, all is not lost. There is a second registration window that you can get registered for by January 5th at 5 p.m. Pacific time, and that's going to be for that second group of 15 permits per day that we're going to talk about in just a second. And just to reiterate, registration is not getting your permit. That's just the very first step in this process. And then from here, you're going to wait for one of the most exciting and stressful days of your entire PCT adventure, and that is permit day. There's going to be 2 dates this year on which permits are going to be issued. The first permit day is November 15th at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time, and there's going to be 35 permits per hiking start date available on that day. The second is January 10th at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time, and the remaining 15 permits per start date will be available at that time. In my last video on this process, I had recorded myself going through end-to-end the application process. I'm not sure if it's going to be 100% just like that anymore, but if it is, let me just kind of show you what it looked like in the past. I'm assuming they're going to use the similar system, but I can't guarantee that because I don't know for sure. But let's take a look. If it's like past years, on permit day, you get put into a queue and assigned a random place in line, and then when it's your turn, you go out and you select whatever date is still available. Information you're likely going to need includes your starting location, that's Campo if you're starting at the border, ending location, which is the Canadian border if you're doing the whole thing, start and end dates, End date, just put something reasonable in there for the end date. You won't know the exact date you'll end at this point. You'll need a credit card if you're planning on a donation to the PCTA, and just some general personal information, name, address, email, that sort of stuff, which you'll just know. Overall, I feel like the process is pretty simple, and depending on what place you get in line, you're going to either be in right away, or you could have a wait of up to several hours, and that can be really nerve-wracking. One thing you can do to keep yourself informed during this waiting period is go out and visit the PCT Facebook page. In the past, people have done a really nice job taking screenshots of what the availability still looks like, and they'll post that out there on the Facebook page, and you can just get an idea of, yeah, things are really filling up, or no, there's plenty of spots open for the date I want, and that can kind of ease your mind as you're in that waiting period. Once you've submitted your application, the process isn't quite over with yet. The PCTA still has to review and approve your application. Now, the PCTA website suggests not booking travel until you've actually received that approval. I've never heard of anybody who didn't get approved, but just to be safe, I'd follow their recommendation. I do need to point out that what I provided for you here today is just an overview. There is a lot more that goes into it. There's a lot more information on the PCTA website. I strongly suggest that you go out there, read everything they have available, educate yourself on the process as best you can, become as informed as you can, read everything you can get your hands on, and make sure that you're highly confident going into this application process. Hiking the PCT can be a life-changing experience, and I'm so excited for you that you're considering going on this adventure. Good luck in the application process. I hope you get the date you want. I hope you have the adventure of a lifetime. As always, if you found any value in this video, please hit that like button and consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks, and we'll see you out on the trail.